But the spelling of, well, I'll spell it.
Okay, go
Okay.
ahead. We're running.
Okay. Ije, I-J-E, Agulefo, A-G-U-L-E-F-O.
Okay.
Okay. EJ, tell me the process of your discovery of calling.
It's been a journey, that I must admit. It took me a while to kind of really figure out where God was leading me. And I think one of the things that I feel really comfortable with are children. Kids are easier, so to speak, for me. I find them so exuberant, so excited, so non-judgmental, easy to talk to. And so once I realized that I really liked hanging out with kids, I thought, well, why don't I just teach them? And so it took me a while to kind of get myself, into that mode, feeling like I can really, teach and sit down with kids. And so even though I'd been a member for quite some time, or rather I'd been coming to this church for a while, I only became a member about 3 years ago. And the first thing I tried was discipleship. And it was just so easy because, the kids, they just get it. Even though I see life as being so difficult and so many problems, once I'm with them, everything to them is just not a big deal. They'll laugh about stuff, they'll cheer me up, they'll pray with me, they'll pray for me. And I feel like I found my niche. And even though I'm still single, I'm not married yet, and I don't have any kids, it sometimes kind of hard because I look at them and I think, wow, this would be so great, being able to have my own kids. But I feel like all this is a preparation for the time to come. And so I can talk to them and I can kind of see myself being this, so to speak, pseudo-parent.
Great.
Did that answer your question?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
How has this affected your life? How has your life changed? Any barriers that you've had to overcome?
Biggest barrier I had to overcome was fear. Because a lot of times I feel like if I'm not a parent, well, how do I know what I'm teaching them is right? How do I know that I'm shepherding them and I'm discipling them well? So I was a little afraid. I thought, what if I step into this kid's life or these kids' lives and I tell them the wrong thing? But as time went on, I felt better because the kids would affirm me. And a lot of my friends, I always babysit their kids, and they'd always ask, oh, can we go to Miss EJ's house? Can we come and spend the night? We like her. She's fun. So then I thought, wow, I can really do this. And I think also when you're with a kid and you're not the kid's parent, it's easier for them to open up to you, to see you as this big sister. And so once I was able to get through the fear, I really realized, I can do this, and even though I don't have any kids yet, well, maybe this is my preparation. Maybe all that I'm doing now is kind of preparing me for that time when I can be a parent, and then I'd be able to do it really well because now I really have the experience, and it's something that I like and I love to do. Did I answer your question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Has it affected your life in any other areas, culturally, professionally?
I think by discipling kids, it's made me a lot more patient because I realized that with kids, you have to keep at it. You have to continue to remind them. You have to affirm them. You have to encourage them. And so I can't get results immediately. And that I think about that in my life too. And I think, well, I want this and I want it now. And I want this job and I want to get married today. And I think, well, the same way it takes time to shepherd kids is the same way it's going to take time as God shepherds me and disciples me. And so it's really taught me to see everything that happens as a preparation for something further. And I'd always remember scripture. I remember Romans 8:28 and say that all things work together for good for those who love and trust the Lord and are called according to his purpose. So even though I have to go through tough times and wait, I realize in the end, he'll bless me. He'll give me what my heart desires.
Great. What are you still learning in this process?
I'm still learning to let go. I'm still learning to recognize that no matter what I do and no matter where I am, God's always with me. He'll do anything for me, but I have to really leave everything in his hands. Sometimes I struggle and I wonder, well, am I doing the right thing? Is there something more that I could be doing? Am I teaching them right? Am I serving him right? And I just realized I can only do what I can. And God's always going to watch over me, and he's going to guide me. The same way I guide them is the same way that he's going to guide me. But I'm learning to have more faith. I'm learning to be patient more than anything, and to let go of fear. It's still a struggle, but I think I'm getting better. I'm doing a lot better. I'm a lot more confident about what I do with the kids, and I'm just waiting because I know the best is yet to come.
What would you say to other people who are on this journey?
Oh, don't give up. No matter what you do, just know that you can do anything through God who strengthens you. Just always look to him, seek him in prayer. Just don't forget that you're not the only one. I always try to reach out to my friends, to my family, and ask them for guidance. I try not to do it all by myself, and it's still a struggle, like I say, but I still think that you should not be afraid to do whatever it is that in your heart you feel that you're capable of doing, because there's nothing that we can't do as long as we rely on God.
Great.
Thank
What
you.
about drawing a distinction between your work, what you do, your job?
My
and-
work?
Yeah, and
Okay.
your calling, which all I've heard is your calling is children, which is, I think that's a great distinguishing between your job doesn't necessarily have to be your calling.
And my job is so different.
Yeah, but just, can you
Can I
just
talk
share
about that?
Yeah, and you
Okay.
talk to Tim, don't look at me.
Okay.
You know I asked the question.
Right. Was I making good
Yeah.
eye contact with you?
Mhm.
Okay. My job. Okay. Yeah, actually, I can do that. Okay. Well, I'm a health education specialist at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and I work in emergency communication. And what that is during an emergency, we're the ones that get all the information together to disseminate to the nation, like when there's a hurricane or there's a terrorist attack or any kind of natural disaster or anything that would be harmful or alarming. And that is a high stress job. Well, it is when there's an emergency, but when nothing's going on, it's really cool. And so I think when I first started the job, I was a little intimidated because, I walk into this building with all the big lights and the big screens and the TVs, and it's like 24. I don't know if any of you guys have watched that. And so I thought, my gosh, can I really do this? But, and then I think, well, I can do anything through God that strengthens me. And so it gave me the confidence when I think, well, I didn't know anything about kids, but I was able to do that. So why can't I do this? And so that has really made me feel like there's nothing that I can do. And I'm doing so much better at work. I've written articles, I've been published, I've gone to conferences to present. And I've always been kind of nervous to present in front of people because I think, oh my gosh, all these people. But I think because I took the little steps and I learned to teach them the kids, I thought, well, I just have to imagine that these are kids, and I just do the same thing. So it's really I've been able to relate what I do with the kids to work.
Great.
That's great. And so
Yeah.
you would say children are your calling, not what you do, your job. How does your job, what you do, fit into who you are? And it may not right now. You might not.
It's hard because I feel like kids are my calling in terms of where I like to serve at church. But the work that I do, I really love my work in the same token, like public health work. And I've done a lot of global work, international work, and I like that. I like, traveling. But when it comes to, church and serving, I feel like the kids are the future, and that's where I want to, invest, my time. And like I said, I see it as a preparation for being a mother and serving my own kids. So I'm not really, now that you mention it, I'm not really sure how my work ties into my calling, except that I can just say, because I've traveled a lot and I've lived different places, and I have a background. I have a Nigerian background, and I was born here. I grew up in Canada. I think that by work, I'm able to do international work because I've seen the world from all different angles, and that it's exciting to me to be able to vacillate between all these different worlds and be able to, I think to a certain extent, relate to kids from everywhere, because I understand what it's like to be from, so to speak, a different place. But I've never really thought about it's funny you should ask me that, but I've never really thought about my work in terms of my calling.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know if
good.
that's a good or bad thing, but
You need to come to
Yeah.
the series.
Which series?
Yeah.
The series that we're using this for.
Oh,
Yeah, We're
really?
doing this in the gathering, so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've only been to the gathering once or twice because, one, I just feel like everyone's so much younger than me.
Really.
Yeah, they're so much younger. And then also, well, now that I go to church first service and then I teach the kids second service,
Yeah,
I haven't been attending that.
All right.
cool. Well, thank you so much.